Hello, 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 and welcome to C&V Midday. Today we are going to talk about, well, something that I think really shows exactly why our culture is in such a mess. But first, just want to mention that my comic book Tilt 2 is in the it will launch on October 19th. If you sign up now at the sign up page, which is linked in the description below, you will be getting a free Tilt magnet with your purchase, but only if you sign up. Otherwise, you will, I haven't decided yet, but you might be able to purchase one with the, when the campaign launches, but you get it for free if you sign up now. Link to that, Tilt 2 is in the description below. Also, just want to give another shout out to Wes Hartman's Savage Sasquatch number 1 through 4. This is a great indie comic book. Wes was my guest on Indie Comic Stream last night, so do check that out. It was a great interview, and the link to Savage Sasquatch is in the description below. So if you haven't backed it yet, I would highly recommend it. Okay, I've been really busy today, so I haven't been able to get to C&V midday, between noon and 1, which is when I usually like to. And I'm actually kind of glad today that I was delayed, because I wanted to talk about this. This was written in the Wall Street Journal by Jason Riley, great columnist. Follow him if you can. Will Amazon suppress the true Michael Brown story? Shelby Steele's new film takes a critical look at the prevailing narrative. It's now under content review. And I read this morning, and yeah, it was under content review. And so I was going to, take a look at this. It's in, today at C&V midday. And I'm actually glad I was delayed, because we now have an answer. This is on the What Killed Michael Brown website. Video Direct Support at Amazon. Hello. Thank you for contacting Prime Video Direct Support. Thank you for your email regarding What Killed Michael Brown. Unfortunately, we have found that your title doesn't meet Prime Video's content quality expectations and is not eligible for publishing on the service at this time. We will not be accepting resubmission of this title, and this decision may not be appealed. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Oh boy, really? Why don't we, before I talk a little bit more about Shelby Steele and who he is, why don't we take a quick look at the trailer for this movie, and you can decide for yourself if the exactly what quality expectations is Amazon talking about. What quality expectations are not being met here? If the trailer is any indication. Let's give it a look here.
A black boy dead in the street, shot by a white policeman.
This was an execution. This was an assassination.
It was 4.5 hours before they finally removed the body.
It's like they left the body out there as a warning for us.
To this day, there are people who blame Ferguson Market for Michael Brown's death.
I want your hands all the way up, because this is how he was when he got shot, when he got assassinated, when he got murdered.
When everybody gets to go home, we stay black, homie.
Ferguson is a microcosm of this country.
White cop, black kid, absolutely. Race played a significant part of the reaction.
What happened in Ferguson was more about America, the very same America that would explode in 2020, where every black was George Floyd and every cop was Derek Chauvin.
You can do better next time by doing the right thing.
Since the 60s, whites have lived under the accusation that they are racist.
Ferguson really became kind of a destination city for successful African Americans.
We were not part of white flight.
No. Some people want to be angry at someone. Michael Brown had tried to buy cigarillos the night before with pot.
He put his hands in the air, but the officer still approached with his weapon drawn, and he fired several more shots.
Some witnesses have also said that they actually saw you stand over him.
That'd be incorrect.
What did you see in that face?
Aggression, there was nothing. It was like Hollow just looking through me.
What demons might have been at work within him, and to make the final fateful charge against Officer Wilson. America's original sin is not slavery. It is simply the use of race as a means to power. When truth becomes the lie, and when the lie becomes truth.
If Michael Brown valued his life, he wouldn't take the chance of risking it.
Was it really racism that killed Michael Brown?
All righty. I'm going to just replay that real quick at the part which I think probably best explains why Amazon rejected this. Let's see if I can find this real quick here.
Sin is not slavery. Final fateful charge.
Yeah, here it's coming up right here. I think this is probably what got Amazon to reject it.
Charge against Officer Wilson. America's original sin is not slavery. It is simply the use of race as a means to power.
Yeah, I think that probably explains why, America's original sin is not slavery. It's, the use of race as a means to power. That, I guarantee you, that is why Amazon decided not to carry What Killed Michael Brown. No doubt that Amazon just, panicked. Well, I say no doubt. My guess is that Amazon panicked, looked at this and said, this is we are going to get overwhelmed by the woke crowd. Maybe they've already gotten overwhelmed by the woke crowd. I don't know. I haven't been tracking this on Twitter or anything else. But I haven't seen any reaction to it. And I do, tend to pay attention to these things quite a bit, but I think that's probably why. And, if you don't know anything about Shelby Steele, I wouldn't necessarily call him a conservative. Obviously, he is black, as you saw from the preview there. But look, he is. I wouldn't call him conservative, but he certainly, as you can tell, departs from liberal orthodoxy. Oxydorthy. Oh boy, orthodoxy on race. He is what I would call, a very good writer, very good scholar. I guarantee you this documentary is going to be I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be a sober and judicious look at Michael Brown, Officer Darren Wilson, and the whole Ferguson conflict and Black Lives Matter. And, if we go back to, this is what, presumably Shelby Steele wrote this, but it's on the What Killed Michael Brown website. By the way, a link to that is in the description below. Amazon currently streams several documentaries on what happened at Ferguson. This rejection by Amazon reveals much about our culture. Oh, yes, absolutely, it does. Our film offers up a compassionate, truthful, and intellectual version of those events, and there were no grounds for rejection. Yeah, well, there were grounds for rejection. Amazon doesn't want to is not going to go against the woke crowd. It's not going to risk the wrath of Black Lives Matter. This documentary is subject for release, is scheduled to be released on Friday, by the way, October 16th, this Friday. So at any rate, but yeah, it reveals, number one, that Amazon are just a bunch of wimps and hypocrites. I mean, here is, they're absolutely right. Whose streets? This is told by a documentary about Ferguson, told by activists and leaders who live and breathe this moment for justice, whose streets is an unflinching look at the Ferguson uprising and a powerful battle cry from a generation fighting not for their civil rights, but for the right to live. And then, here's what else is still on, you can stream on Amazon. Straight Outta Compton, director's cut. which contains the song F the Police. Unrated director's cut. That's perfectly fine, but one that takes a alternative view on Ferguson, that kind of documentary is not good. Not to mention NWA, they're straight out of Compton, their record with F the Police, also available for purchase on Amazon. So that's perfectly fine. Netflix can come out with their pay on to really pedophiles, cuties. That's perfectly fine. But a sober, judicious look at Ferguson and Black Lives Matter. We know from the grand jury investigation into Ferguson that Officer Darren Wilson acted in self-defense. That Michael Brown did charge him, did assault him, and Officer Wilson fired his gun in self-defense. Those are facts that are not in dispute. But apparently the facts don't matter, and it's really a problem when a political movement like Black Lives Matter and a Marxist movement, in my opinion, well, I don't think that's opinion so much as it is probably also fact, but nevertheless, has so much power that it can just push aside examination of the actual facts. As again, everything I know about Shelby Steele, that's what killed Michael Brown is going to be. It's going to be judicious, sober look at Ferguson. It was also produced by his son Eli Steele, and it's just it's awful. It's really, our culture is really sunk to a well, yeah. I mean, it's every time I think it can't sink to another low, it sinks to another low. And it's outrageous, but it's not surprising that this would happen. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much for stopping on by, and I will be back on. Well, I'll have a video up tomorrow, and I will be back on Friday with another CNV midday. Until next time, have a very nice day.